everyone. Willie Clark here. Welcome to episode 17 of the Not So Silent podcast. As always, my Zygon shape-shifting companions, Ryane and Dillon. How's it going, guys?
Hey.
Hey-oo.
Are you the actual ones, or are you clones?
You're just gonna have to test us to find out.
I actually don't answer to that question.
You reject the question as a whole?
I reject the question as a whole, yes.
Well, I mean, when it's a convenient plot device to reject a question, you might as well just reject it.
Yeah, why not, right?
So I think this is actually a historic episode, because I believe, and I don't remember entirely all of last season, but I'm pretty sure this is the first episode that we've all essentially been in agreement on.
Yeah, probably.
This season, yeah.
If you hated it, then we're in agreement.
Yeah, I mean, it was just a very, well, I guess I should, as always, spoilers, for this episode, everything that happened, anything that's happened this season, stuff from Oahu, if you haven't watched that, because Jinxie is a fountain of knowledge. But yeah, okay, so let's get into very, very broken episode. Very broken. The Zygon Invasion.
The Zygon F-up of the centuries. It's a little more scripted.
So, I don't think I like the Zygons. I think that's part of the problem to begin with.
Oh, I love the Zygons.
Well, now, they haven't been around in Modern Who, with the exception of the Day of the Doctor, right?
Why do I feel like I've seen them recently?
Day of the Doctor.
Yeah, I think that's it.
I mean, yeah. So let's before we completely dive in, I should preface it with saying, I don't think I'm a big fan of the Zygons. I also am not a fan of Unit at all. I hate Unit. I hate Osgood. The other blonde lady, whoever she is, I don't like her either.
I think it's I always forget her first name, but I think it's Kate Stewart.
Kate Stewart, yeah, that's right.
Chief.
I've never found this modern. I used to like Unit. I used to think Unit was very interesting.
I never liked Unit,
but
I do like Osgood.
No,
so
I don't know.
Disagreement.
I don't like. I've never liked the implementation of this modern equivalent of Unit.
They're bumbling idiots.
Yeah, and
but Osgood is the one that's like, she's the person who throws the fan base actually into the show. Yeah. Like, she knows of the Doctor, she's a fan of the Doctor, like, well, she's the show getting a little bit meta.
Yeah, when someone made this comment, I kind of liked it. She's also serves to be like the perpetual happy person, which is something that we don't usually get because everyone seems, oh yeah, flying aliens and everything, like, which she still finds it like fantastical each and every time, which is kind of nice.
That's true. I mean, it's kind of Clara at the beginning. But yes, okay, so what part of this episode that didn't work? Actually, okay, was there anything, since we all agree that we didn't like the episode, essentially, is there anything that you did like? Let's do the hard part first. Let's play anything. Was there anything redeeming about this episode?
Do you want me to go first?
What?
Yeah, because I'm still thinking.
Okay, I can go first. I actually liked a lot of this, and that's the problem is I loved it the first time I watched through, and then I stopped for 2 seconds to actually think about what happened. I'm like, oh my god, that was the shittiest thing I've ever seen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I actually really like the Zygons. I like the evolution of them. Getting some more of their different stuff they can do. They didn't used to have the whole lightning bolt stuff, and no, I like that. I like their evolution, and
I can tell you right now, Willie's gonna disagree with you there.
Yeah, probably.
What?
Like you were complaining that you hated that they changed the rules of the Zygon.
No, I don't care, because I don't care about the Zygons. I said that I imagine that fans of the Zygons were going to be very not happy that they completely, not the rules of the Electric, because I didn't even know that, but the rules where they had to keep the original one alive. Well, and then, but we don't know if that rule is actually broken.
I mean, even if you're a fan of the Zygons, you have to come to terms with them being able to keep form without having the people in a chamber of some sort, because that's originally how they had to do it, was they had to put someone in a chamber and they had to renew every 2 to 3 hours or whatever it was.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's ultimately one of the things that I liked the least about this episode, and it's kind of a cop-out, but I feel like most of the things that I didn't like were things that I had to suspend, like, belief on, but that the episode eventually, like, made it so, like, well, maybe that's not actually true. Like early on, we were like, of course, that's so dumb that, like, right under Clara's nose is a pathway to, like, the entire Zygon, like, plan. But then when it turns out that, like, they've had Clara the whole time, you're like, okay, well, that makes a little more sense.
Yeah, coming up with a whole where.
Yeah, and like, of course they would target Clara, but the fact that the show, like, played around with that, like, I did kind of like the reveal that, like, Clara had been working for them the whole time and that she was in the stasis, but I feel like the show actually kind of cheapened itself by doing that reveal, because it just made everything very obvious. Like, I think it almost would have been slightly more surprising that Clara wasn't a Zygon, and that she hadn't been kidnapped while above the thing. But I don't know. That I just kind of twisted all around that, but I feel like most of this episode just twisted all around itself to begin with.
Yeah, well, I think that'll definitely affect rewatch. First time through, it's an awesome twist, but I don't think it's a twist well enough in and of itself to lend itself to history.
No, River Song, it is not.
That was such a great reveal. Willie really likes trying to call twists as, like, before they happen. And so, like, he called Clara's, like, seconds before it happened. Not super noticed, but a few seconds before it happened.
Was
but
it
like
because
with
she grabbed
River,
a gun?
I don't remember.
No, because it was when the lady was like, "Oh, like, these aren't right," and I was like, "Well, yeah," I was like, "Those are the pods where they're keeping them." Like,
and you're like,
I'm just really smart. I just have a larger brain capacity.
Or maybe you just call out random theories all the time, ruining movies.
He does do that.
Yeah,
he does that
but
all
if
the
my
time.
random theories are right every single time,
well, if you
they're
shout
not
out
random.
20 of them and you're right once, then you've
No,
still
you're not-
pissed
you're
off
not allowed-
everyone in the movie theater. So goal
No,
accomplished.
you're not allowed to do that. You're not allowed to guess 20. You can guess more than one, or like, you should have, like, one main guess, and then as, like, new information develops, you can, like, change that guess.
Or you could just watch it and enjoy it. But
No, you're not supposed to enjoy
insane.
media. What are you talking about?
Yeah, but yeah, with River Song, he was just like, he had no guesses and was just floored, and it was awesome.
Yeah, that one did get me.
Got everyone, I think, for the most part. But...
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, okay, so sorry, I kind of set a way we were going to go and then derailed it. Okay, so Jinxie, something else you liked about the episode?
So the one reason why I think I was able to turn off my brain and enjoy it the first time through was the fact that the music was just
they
perfect.
have been killing it with music.
The
past couple episodes have been on point.
It was absolutely beautiful. Like that scene where his mother, in quotation marks, was coming out of the church. That music is what set up that scene, because the entire scene is a piece of crap, and I have a laundry list of bullet points to share with everyone about why. But
yeah, I mean, I'm trying to think of an episode of Doctor Who that's just felt as broken as this one, and I feel like in general, Doctor Who, as fantastical and, you know, weird and whatever as it is, I feel like it normally makes, I don't want to say it makes logical sense.
Do you want to know what else doesn't make very much logical sense?
Mm-hmm.
Kill the moon.
No, kill the moon.
And do you want to know something else? Guess who wrote this episode?
The same person who wrote Kill the Moon?
Peter Harness, the person who wrote Kill the Moon.
Oh, that's really funny.
That explains everything.
It explains why I hate the crap out of it, because I hated the crap out of that episode.
That does explain a lot. I mean, I don't know if I hated this episode.
He's changed. No.
I don't like it, but there were parts of it that I was very intrigued, but I feel like it was also one of the more boring episodes we've had this season. But I don't know, it was just so fragmented, and I feel like most of the pieces were confusing and jumbled and didn't work. I mean, the biggest one that both me and Ryan will like is the doctor spent when he goes off to whatever country he goes off to.
Uzbekistan.
Some made up Stan country.
Essentially a made up Stan country. He goes off to that country, and after already being like, we're not going to fire on them, then has to have that whole argument over again with new people.
Yeah.
Like 3 times.
Yeah.
I feel like in unit, they seem to have made the decision, like, we're not gonna do this air raid. Like, that seemed like it was decided, and then he arrives, and they were like, no, we're doing this air raid. And he was like, wait, no, what?
Yeah.
Can I also make a quick point about that air raid, if I may? So the Zygons, now with a new ability of kind of reading out people's minds and impersonating people from them, you kind of have to have a psychic link. How do you have a psychic link with someone sitting as a pilot of an electronic drone miles away? Yeah,
I was just about to bring up that same point. Like,
what point?
How they showed the, like, the pilot,
that's
like,
how
her husband and kid. And they're like, how the hell are they going to target in on that specific person?
Yeah, I mean, the other thing one of my big things was, they said that, like, oh, the Zygons are actually not here. Like, they've escaped it from a secret tunnel from the Middle East to London. And I was like, oh, yes, that secret escape tunnel that runs under the Middle East and goes all the way to London.
That apparently also teleports them instantly rather than wandering for 20 days.
Yeah, I was like, how could I possibly forget about that secret escape tunnel? And, I mean, even, I don't know, I feel like the show always has to be really careful when it splits everyone up. And I don't know. I didn't like them, oh, we're going to send, like, one person completely underarmed here, and Clara completely, like, unarmed here, and the doctor also completely unarmed all the way over here. And for the record, also, I always thought the president of the world stuff was really dumb, too.
Yeah.
I think the biggest thing of this episode is it's going to depend how much...
Unit.
Well, yeah, it's going to depend how much you liked what they did with Day of the Doctor. And I thought that the unit and Zygon stuff was, like, the weakest part of that. And, I mean, especially now, they're like, oh, we just made, like, however many million Zygons.
The president stuff, I don't think, was in Day of the Doctor.
No, that was
a different episode nearby, but not.
Oh, yeah, no, you're right.
The Zygons were really
yeah.
I can't remember if Tennant had it, but we also saw it last season in Dark Water.
Yeah. Crap, you guys made me forget the other point I was going to say, though.
Yeah.
No, it was super important.
I'm sure it was.
It depends
like
on how much.
Say on this podcast.
Depends on how much you like. Depends on how much you like the other thing. And the Zygons. Okay, it's gone. I don't know. We're gonna have to, it's gone. I don't. You guys.
High five, Jinx.
Yeah,
you guys completely derailed me on that one. Yeah, I have no idea.
Tastes of the old medicine.
Yeah, we need to learn how to, like, derail him on cue.
Yes. Just say something Nintendo related. Oh, look, Willie, there's a new collectible Mario doll. Go.
Okay, bye. Yeah, see you guys later.
He already did that once today.
Yeah, I already did that once today. New amiibo today. But speaking of Jinxie, have you seen the giant fluffy Yarn Yoshi amiibo? You're going to want that one.
Yes.
Yeah,
I've already ordered 5.
Yeah, I figured as much.
Take a shot.
Yeah, anyways. But yeah, I mean, a lot of it revolves around on unit and all that stuff. But yeah, it doesn't make sense to split everyone up and send them across the country and be like, oh, let's go defenseless. And this wasn't what I was going to say, but this was one of the other things I really didn't like. I really didn't like Clara just randomly pulling out, like, oh, like, fuck, what was this phrase they kept repeating?
Oh,
the name of the Truth or Consequences. And Clara was just like, oh, I know this is a town. And I was like, that's so dumb for Clara to just randomly know that. But
she
then,
was like an elementary school teacher.
Well, but then they kind of undercut that by the fact that Clara was actually a Zygon. But I feel like they did a lot of things that they were like, this isn't going to make any sense. And they're just like, but hold on, because eventually it'll make sense at the end.
Well, I think that's fine. That's fine.
That
because it is fine to a point, but you can only, I feel like you have to build step by step. And if you're building on a lot of crumbling steps, like, it still is weird. I don't know. The truth and consequences stuff, I don't think, I have no idea what happened there at all.
It was their headquarters. One of them.
Okay.
Right? It was a town of Zygons.
No, it was a town of regular people that Zygons moved to.
Yeah. So then it was a town of Zygon.
Which was a commentary on immigration reform.
Well, yeah, okay. So that is one thing I do want to get into. But the other thing I want to say before I forget is they kept talking about how many Zygons there were, like, all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I feel like we only ever saw, like, desert towns with, like, one Zygon left in it. Which
The desert town was literally full of them.
No, it had, like, 10 in the church.
They were all in the church, yeah.
10 is not, like...
Just because that's all we saw doesn't mean that's all
No, but I'm saying, I don't know. They're like, oh, like, we're going to war against all these Zygons, but it's really, like, 10 of them. But, yeah, that is, Jinxie, you did bring up a good point. There was a lot of, I thought, not quite subtle social commentary in this episode, and I'm kind of surprised the comparisons to Isis they were drawing with the Zygons. I'm really surprised. Yeah, go ahead.
So, you remember Kill the Moon was kind of like ham-fisting abortion and that whole topic? I don't really...
I guess.
You guess?
I blocked that episode out.
Yeah, that was pretty much the underlying theme of aborting the baby...
The baby moon, yeah.
So, and that also had a whole bunch of plot holes. This literally feels like I'm watching Kill the Moon version 2, only he's decided to take on different controversial subjects, and I don't like how he's using Doctor Who as like a political pulpit to speak his views.
It's not the show to do this.
No,
it's really
it's
irritating.
Weird.
It's 2 episodes. He's written 2, and he's 2 out of 2 for pissing me off.
Well,
it's very impressive.
It's just weird because I feel like you can like, I don't know, and I think I've gone on record saying this before, that the episodes of Doctor Who, and even more generally the episodes of science fiction that I like the most are the ones that somehow teach us something about humanity, even if it's using aliens or something to do it. So I'm not saying that it has to be something direct like this, but whenever it somehow reflects on like human beings' desire to live or human beings' desire to do something, or anytime it wrestles with actual moral or ethical questions that we can apply to real life, I think is, on a very high-minded level where science fiction and where Doctor Who succeeds the most. There's a difference between doing that and then doing something, I think ham-fisting it is exactly right, Jinxie. Like, there's no ifs, ands, or buts that this is very much like, oh, let's do an episode about, like, ISIS.
Yeah.
It's not like some weird metaphor. It's like a direct, like, oh, we have a fringe group. Like, the line when the Doctor was like, you're gonna bomb these people, like, a lot of them want to live, like, this is just a fringe faction of them. I was like, oh my god, this is, like, directly commentating on what's going on. And yeah, it's weird when Doctor Who does it.
It's lazy writing. There's no way else to put it. This was the laziest episode of writing I've seen this season. He didn't decide to create a metaphor. There's a lot of
coincidences.
There's a lot of coincidences, and, I mean, I think the other thing is, too, I don't know, my gut tells me, and maybe I'm just giving them too much credit, my gut tells me is that this episode was probably originally longer, or
it's a 2-parter.
It is. Well, I don't know. Or maybe it was originally like 4 hours long, and they because they knew it was a 2-parter, so they filmed so much more. I imagine they cut a lot from this episode because they're like, I feel like a couple scenes here and there would have gone a long way into like explaining or trying to pinpoint exactly what was going on, but maybe not. Maybe it's just a giant mess. That's also entirely possible. I almost
feel like I remember that being his excuse for Kill the Moon too, where he said they cut out something that really explained it. And I feel if you're a writer for TV, you should be able to adapt your script to your medium rather than have your medium completely destroy your script.
Well, I guess yes, to a point, but it also completely depends, like who knows where a scene could have gotten cut. Like, that could have been that could have been in the editing bay. Well, but that's not necessarily up to him.
It is up to him. If he says if this completely ruins the plot of it, there should be some pushback to say, this episode now makes completely
I know,
sense.
But Moffat could have said, or this, the BBC, or you never know. I don't think it's necessarily fair to pin a decision like that on one person.
I don't know. Maybe it's because I just don't like his stories. It's hard because I like every single Doctor Who story except for.
It's fun. I know it's funny. Now I'm gonna have to find if this is. I didn't realize this was my boy from Kill the Moon. So maybe I like this episode now. But no, yeah, I don't know. It was a boring, confusing, broken episode of Doctor Who, and I feel like that just does not happen that often.
I think the for me, the most telling sign is I was talking to Willie just like, I don't know, 10 minutes before we started recording. And this was totally a factor of the episode, not any outside circumstances. But I was like, for the first time ever since we started this, I was like, I don't want to do this podcast. Like, I don't want to talk about this episode. This is not going to be super enjoyable.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and it's a two-parter, which, I don't know. I don't really think they've laid any good groundwork for part 2, to be completely honest.
I think they've laid good groundwork. It's just going to take a lot to salvage how stupidly plot-holed this entire episode is. Though, I do think that there are, since you do have the whole duplicate thing running around, like, the Doctor's probably a duplicate, Kate Stewart probably killed the Zygon and picked up the phone, and she also has her duplicate from Day of the Doctor. I feel like they're going to do like a whole bunch of that mind stuff, but that's, I don't know. You can't split that type of stuff up.
No, and I don't know. I almost feel like, okay, this is going to sound weird, but I think I like the idea of the Zygons as like anyone could be a Zygon. But I feel like the show's using it right now in a like super cheesy way, if that makes sense. Like it's just like, oh, like you don't know who in the episode's a Zygon, so because of that, like, like, I don't know.
Everyone's a Zygon.
Like, yeah, essentially,
there's no twist because you already assume
you're like, everyone's a Zygon, and then when people are Zygons, you're like, oh, and then, like, yeah, like, I think you're right. At the end, it's going to be like, well, the Doctor's actually had 7 Dr. Zygons, and the real Doctor's been asleep underneath the ground the whole time, and this was in a dream, and he, you know, and whatever. And that's how they're going to pull their way out of it, but I feel like I don't know, and I feel like there are cool things you could do with the Zygons, and the idea that you don't know who somebody is, but because they're hitting you over the head with it so much, it's like it's a self-defeating prophecy. Like, it's like, hey, pay attention, you don't know who anyone is.
And the point that they like started to do it well a little bit when they were in the like Zygon town, wherever in Xstan somewhere, and they were like, okay, like, don't believe things that are being said from the people that come out of the church, like, they're not real. Ask them, like, questions that they should know. And he was like, here, let me give a half-hearted attempt. You didn't answer my question? That's okay. It's fine. Let's go. Let's just go.
I have a bolded list of things that were wrong with that scene.
Yeah, let's go through that scene. Yeah, we can take through that scene.
Alright, I tried to do these chronologically, but I kind of lost myself. Anyway, so the first part, the dialogue at the start of it, to try and set up the whole entire scene, was terribly executed. And this starts with the woman saying, they took me and your sister captive and brought us here. And then, but like, just a couple seconds later, but your commanders are the real enemy. They're the aliens. And it's like, I'm also a hostage right now. And that I somehow know, like, what's going on and about your commanders and them being aliens. And it was so, like, she knew stuff she shouldn't have known for a hostage. It was.
Well, yeah, because she
wasn't. Yeah, I mean,
but she was super obvious.
Like, it was, and then I don't know. I kind of would have. I think I would have liked the twist if they were like, "Hey, actually, the commander's a Zygon, and those people were refugees and weren't actually Zygons." But then when they turn out to be Zygons and kill everyone, you're just like, "Oh, well, yeah."
Like, duh, that was super obvious.
I know, it was so stupid.
Yeah, I mean, it gave me a little bit of pause just because, like, even if I knew full-heartedly that it was not my mother standing in front of me, still actually shooting something that was a clone of my mother, fully aware that it's a clone, would be a really hard thing to do.
I think everyone could have taken turns shooting other people in the face, especially if, like, someone didn't like someone else's mother, like, oh, please, let me do this, yes. But, alright.
Can't wait to let my mother know that you would be willing to shoot her clone in the face.
Oh, no, I would never do that. I love your mother. But, so the next part was that the obvious plot hole, the soldier just accepted that his mother didn't remember his birthday. That was just beyond stupid.
Yeah.
All the soldiers went into the church at once. No one stayed outside. That makes complete sense.
Yeah.
None of the soldiers...
And there's, like, a difference between, like... Because for me, it was... I assume in his mind that he knew it was a clone, but he just couldn't bring himself to shoot the image of his mother, which is fine. I understand that. That does not mean you have to go into the church with them to, like, not actively shoot them.
And what
like, you don't have to walk into your death.
What would they show them as proof to magically make them not...
Their Zygon penises?
Probably. Zygon in a box.
Ugh.
But, no, so yeah, no one stay behind. Also, when you suspect someone of maybe being hostile, what do you do as, like, any sort of law enforcement agency? You subdue them, and then you investigate. So why would you just like, oh yeah, sure, fine, I think you're a Zygon, but might as well go in.
Just walk in.
No handcuffs, nothing. That makes also good sense.
And there was just stuff like that. Like I said, this is the whole thing with splitting everyone up, sending Kate Stewart, to New Mexico by herself.
Yeah, this is stupid.
The doctor running around with one person. I mean, even sending Clara with just one other person. Like, this entire episode, and like I said, I know that I have qualms a lot of the times about Doctor Who's logic within the universe as a whole, but at least I feel like the characters normally act logically. And it's not like The Walking Dead where characters are just continually doing dumb things and then wondering why they're getting attacked by zombies. I feel like the Doctor as a whole, the Doctor is a very logical being, and the companions normally don't do stupid things for the sake of doing stupid things, but this entire episode feels like the Doctor doing stupid things for the sake of doing stupid things. And Jinxie, I think you might be right. In the end of the two-parter, it's going to be like, well, the Doctor actually knew that they were clones all along, so he actually did stupid things to set them up. And then it's going to be like, so, okay, forgive us because none of this made sense because it was all a ruse. But
it's not.
Right now, you just have a dumb doctor.
Yeah.
Yeah, right, and you have dumb soldiers, which doesn't explain the ruse. Because I have 3 more bullet points too to get on there. But
okay, yeah, go through them.
All right, so I wrote this out, so I'm going to say it verbatim because I probably won't be able to say it otherwise. The sheer stupidity one has to have in order to believe that the Zygons captured all of your platoon's loved ones when they all came out and brought them to some random church in a different country is just unachievable.
Yeah.
Just like the sheer disbelief mindset you have to put yourself in to believe, oh yes, all of my platoons, because we're very important and they'll know who exactly we're coming for, transported our entire loved ones into this small little church. It was... That actually was what broke it for me. But another one, if they were captive, which they said they were captive, and then they had just been let out of captivity, then are they really captive? Why do they want to go back?
Yeah, into the church.
And then why would they want to take their loved ones back into the place they're being held?
Because there's proof in there with the captives and...
That felt good. I felt like that right there was just a therapy session. Thank you, everyone, for.
I'm glad that we could be cathartic for you.
Yeah, I feel much better now. Oh, look at that. But yeah, so those were my bulleted items just about the church scene, which I felt ruined the entire episode for me.
I mean, I feel like you could do that for almost every scene in this episode, though.
Yeah, I've got another bullet point list of the major plot.
I mean, just one of my biggest things was at the very beginning, and this is before Clara's a Zygon, is how many missed calls did she have from the Doctor?
127.
And she's just like, oh, I'm going to ignore these.
This is clearly not important.
Yeah, this is clearly not important. I'm like an A-lister in terms of, like, most wanted for an alien race to capture. Mm-hmm. But I'm going to ignore these calls from the Doctor and walk into...
some random people's apartment?
Yeah, or was it her apartment?
No.
Or was she just walks...
a kid crying, and she's like, it's okay, I'll go explore your apartment for you.
So she just walks into some random person's apartment, and I was just like, what is going on?
Yeah, that was a weird thing to do.
Like, clearly the Doctor, I imagine, doesn't leave that many calls for her unless it's an emergency.
Yeah,
and
we don't know that.
I mean, we don't know that, but...
He's not very communicative.
He's not very communicative. And even if he is, like, come on. She's just going to be like, oh, la da 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 da.
He called me 127 times.
Yeah,
this
not important. Let's just explore, because, yeah, like I said, at the very beginning, you're like, this is a trap. They're going to change her. And then when they don't do that, but then end up doing that anyways, it's just like, yeah.
And I think what sums up my entire reaction to this episode in a statement, I guess, when we all watch Doctor Who, we have like some level of suspension of belief because it's a time-traveling alien. I feel like this episode took that and just slapped a giant big penis around with it. It's sort of.
Well, like I said, I do really feel like the season as a whole has kind of gotten that trend where it's just like we're like fuck the rules. Like we're gonna do whatever we want. We're just gonna run around, and as long as it all somehow makes sense at the end, then good.
But I feel like the plots of the other ones were at least a bit more sound. This one has plot holes. It has just video.
It has plot holes you could drive a TARDIS through.
Yeah.
Hey-o. Logical inconsistencies, both among itself and just
like I said, but it's not going to matter. They're going to say that none of the logical inconsistencies were inconsistent because they weren't actually the characters. They were Zygons. They've been Zygons the whole time. Actually, the Doctor's been a Zygon forever. But my biggest thing is in the list of stupid decisions. I still think the stupidest is we're just going to let these Zygons run around on Earth. And I know that was like the whole peace treaty that the Doctor brokered before.
See, I love the peace treaty.
Yeah, me too.
No,
that was clever.
No.
Do you remember it?
Yeah, they explained what he did. Like, he's like, no one's going to know who's a Zygon and who's not.
Yeah.
But
that's like the best way to create a peace treaty in the world.
I mean, it is, but
don't know what side you're fighting for.
It does, but it's clearly not going to last. Like, it's like you're clearly arming this invasive alien race, like parasitic alien race.
Wow,
under
you
Earth.
sound anti-immigration.
I'm not anti-immigration. I'm anti-immigration if it's deadly aliens.
Oh, wow. I didn't know we had an anti-immigration person on this podcast. This is terrible.
I'm anti-intergalactic murderous alien immigration.
Deadly aliens. A lot of people would agree with you and be like, yeah.
Not those deadly aliens.
See, a lot of people would have said that about the Irish in New York, but here I am.
No. You know, if it is not from this planet and wants to kill me, it can go home.
It doesn't want to kill you, it just wants to sucker you.
Exactly.
Willie is all about the invasion of the Irish.
Yes. Even though he's English, but he won't admit it.
I'm not English.
Your last name's Clark. Give it a break. You're English.
Anyways. Yeah, no. That's what they're going to do. This whole episode is going to end up being like one giant, like, twisty roller coaster next. The second half.
I still won't forgive them.
No, but that's what I'm saying. Like, you can only ask people, you can undo stuff by having the character not act in character if they're not that character. Follow me.
Wow, that was confusing.
But you can only do sorry, I kind of hit Ryan in the head. But you can only push things so far before people are just going to completely lose interest with what's going on, and I think that's what they did this episode. I think they pushed everything way
just
too
hold
far.
On, just keep holding on. Keep holding on. We'll get there.
Especially for a two-parter, because now they're going to stretch it out even more. Because it's not all going to make sense right at the beginning.
No, but I think also the real just push for the parallels between ISIS and this, and then the immigration issues in this. You don't add political commentary onto an already jarring and jarring episode.
Especially let's talk about okay, we're gonna do a political episode. Duh, let's go to New Mexico, which is a border state.
Yeah.
The other thing is too. I think it's kind of weird now that I think of it to have an immigration-based episode coming from Britain. When they
addressing American immigration.
Yeah,
well, I think they're addressing British immigration too because of a lot of the refugees need places in Europe to go to, and I don't think I'm not brushed up on my British, so my British politics. So forgive me, but I think they're having the same type of
American politics.
Yes, it's hard. Have you seen how many Republican candidates there are now? It's 50.
No.
Yeah, any clown they can get to. Try to convince to run.
Donald Trump.
Let's not.
Yeah, let's not go over that.
Let's go another way.
It's just such a mess. It's just such a mess.
It's a hot mess.
It's a hot mess, and we'll see what they do to pull it out next week. But
I'm gonna put myself totally out there, and I am so detached from politics and unexpected politics in Doctor Who. Until this podcast started, I had no idea they were talking about political issues.
You didn't pick up.
I did not pick up on that at all.
The ISIS stuff. Oh man, she's so sheltered.
No, someone's been spending too much time out in the woods with their birds.
Mm-hmm.
I do.
Exactly.
Okay, can I point out a couple more plot holes?
Because yeah. Keep going. Keep going.
No, so now this is the general issues. One, when the science lady from UNIT, who I think is called Jack, I didn't double check that, or like Jacqueline or something.
I think.
Jax.
They call it Jax.
Jack and Dexter, yeah.
Okay, so Jax, when Clara, the clearly Zygon Clara now, went down into the basement, why would she not have her copied then? That seems like a perfect time to just ambush her and copy her, so you don't even need to kill her. That logically made no sense to me. Like, okay, you're a Zygon and you have trapped...
alone with her all the time.
Yeah, it made, again, no sense whatsoever. It's not like she'd blow her cover because the Zygon that took her over isn't about to say, oh, by the way, this Clara turns Zygon and let me take over this person's body. But, anyway, next bullet point. The Zygon High Command that the Doctor was talking to
the little girls?
Did nothing when they were being abducted by the exact same number of Zygons. What makes them High Command?
That was a weird scene in general. That just wait, the Doctor just knew immediately what these creatures were and what was happening, and they were just like, meh. Well, not a big deal.
I kind of was hoping. I didn't think they were going to end up being right. I thought the Doctor.
I thought they were going to be kids, not violence.
I thought they were going to be kids.
Hilarious. But no, I can see all of that just perfectly fine. The way they wanted to handle it themselves, and the Doctor knowing because he helped institute the peace treaty. What I don't get is what makes them High Command if they can't even fight off two just random Zygons.
Yeah. My other thing, and this actually, now that I'm remembering it, might be my least favorite thing about the episode, and an episode full of least favorite things, is how they were like, oh,
these are a few of my
least favorite things. How they were like, oh, Osgood is like a hybrid now, when she's clearly not. She's not actually part human and part Zygon.
They just wanted to play with the hybrid.
They just wanted to play with the hybrid thing.
Maybe there is a way of changing humans into Zygons.
Okay, well, regardless. And then my other thing was when they were like, she's so important, one person is more important than this entire town, because this one person is the key to keeping the peace treaty together. They literally called her the physical embodiment of the peace treaty.
Yeah, she was, though.
You can't physically embody peace?
We don't know what's in the box, so maybe you could.
I mean, we don't know. I mean, removing the box...
That part doesn't bother me.
Removing the box from the equation together, it's like, we only need to save her
we
because...
We didn't see the box anymore.
We didn't see the box again this episode, no. Because they're like, as long as she's okay, peace will survive. That doesn't make any sense. You can't,
Maybe
if she dies, the peace
link or something, you know.
Well, but that's what I'm saying.
Well,
so,
if she dies, the box can't be opened.
Ooh.
We don't know that. We don't.
That's
maybe
what they implied. She's the only one who knows how to open the box.
Maybe if she dies, the box opens.
Did any of you watch the preview for next week?
No, that we didn't see the preview.
Do you want me to say something or no?
Yeah. Go ahead. It's fine.
So the preview showed Clara already in the presence of the box, attempting to activate it. So they'll find it eventually, but I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think the box is a peace thing. The box probably
contains the Z67 gas, which turns Zygons inside out.
No,
that sounds gross.
No,
I know, but it sounds awesome.
Here's what the box is. The box is a thing: is that whoever activates the box can completely wipe out the other race. So the Zygons have it.
That's what you think?
Yeah. So if the Zygons activate it, they can completely wipe out the humans. If the humans have it, they can completely wipe out the Zygons.
I think it's going to turn around to be whichever race tries to use it eliminates themselves.
Well, I mean, that's completely possible too, and that would actually fit in with everything and how the Doctor likes to do stuff. But still, you can't have a person who's peace, and if that person dies, everyone's just going to be like, oh, well, no more peace, that one person's dead. I understand the Doctor normally places the lives of his friends over the greater good.
She's a metaphor.
But she can't. No, but she is a metaphor. But
the only metaphor in this entire
But they're
episode.
acting like she's not actually a metaphor. Like, no, they
I
call
disagree
her.
with that.
No, but I don't. They're like, we need her. She is the physical embodiment of this peace treaty.
Yeah, metaphorically.
No, but they're not treating it like it's a metaphor. They're treating it like like she's more important than actual peace. Like, her living or dying, like, if she dies, like, they can't have peace. Is literally.
I think it's more if she dies, a war is definitely going to break out.
But why? Why does the other side? The other side doesn't care about her.
They might. You don't know. They kidnapped her. They care about her enough.
But they
to do
kidnapped
that.
her because the good side cares about her.
Or because they want the box.
Well, but they want the box.
The
They don't care about
Pandora
her.
opening. The Pandora is opening.
Anyways, no, you can't, like. It's like being like, oh, like, if we blow up the Statue of Liberty, like, Liberty dies everywhere, or it's like to.
How do you not know that? Have you blown up the Statue of Liberty? Are you also saying you're an ISIS terrorist that's going to blow up something?
That's not.
Dude, you are now
works.
an anti-immigrationist and an ISIS terrorist.
That's not how it works. Like, you can't just have, like.
I think that's exactly how it works.
No, you can't. Okay, for example, it would be like saying, okay, Clara is now the physical embodiment of love, and if she dies,
yes, she is.
If she dies, no one in the world will feel love again.
I certainly
That's
won't.
what. Oh Jesus! you better come to terms with that because she's going away soon.
No.
No. We don't have much longer with her, so you better come to terms with that quick.
I always have reruns on Netflix.
That's true, but that's what I'm saying. Like, you can't have a person can't physically be the embodiment of an ideal. They're saying that they bound peace to her somehow, and that's
we don't know what the box is, so it could be.
It's just called a metaphor.
No, but it's not. They're not actually treating it like it's a metaphor. They're treating her like
treat anything
her
like it was a
physical.
This
Yeah, they're treating her like her physical existence is peace, and if her body disappears, the world will not have peace. It's not a metaphor. She is the little winged dove that flies around and gives peace to everyone.
And then the alien shoots, going
Exactly. Like,
see, I don't know. This is not an issue for me.
It was a big issue.
I just think that you're seeing.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Ryan on this one.
No, it's not a metaphor. It's not a metaphor.
I have a bullet point list of 30 issues, and that's not on it.
No, it should be. It should be at the top. But okay, you got a couple more, Jinxie? What else you got?
So I don't have any more major plot holes as far as well. Actually, I do have one, but I also want to mention something a little stupid that made me irritating.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The gravestone says "my sister" on it. Really?
Yeah.
Really? Okay. Anyway, I just my
that's
my
just
brain
so
is
much of this episode. Just
it's so depressing. Oh yeah, here we go. They mentioned that there's a small faction of Zygons, and when on the plane and being interrogated, was that it? I don't even remember. Yeah, it was on the plane. The Zygons somehow had turned a faction into millions already having overtaken London. Like, they said, we slowly were replacing all of London all year. I'm like, it's not a small faction. That's kind of, an entire city.
Yeah, it's all a fucking mess. Yeah, it's a goddamn mess.
It's so utterly bad. Any other things? I know I have something. It's just buried here. Yeah, no, I guess my last point was that I just feel like I got beaten to death with a large rod of pure metaphor. A pure literal metaphor. It's not even a metaphor.
Yeah. Anything else from your end, right?
No. I'm over it. We'll see how next week goes. That's all I can say is we'll see. I'm not I feel like at most of the times at the half point of the two-parters, I'm excited. How is this gonna resolve? And now I'm just ugh.
I want it over. Yeah.
Are you gonna be able to fix this? I don't think you're gonna be able to fix this.
Yeah.
He couldn't fix Kill the Moon, so he's probably not gonna be able to fix this.
That's true. Was there anything else in the preview of interest, Jinxie, you want to bring up, or?
No, I just skimmed it. I didn't actually look at it, which actually was kind of nice that they didn't put it at the end of this episode, so that way people who really don't want to know anything could.
Yeah, can avoid it.
Yeah,
so.
It's nice.
Okay, cool. Well, sorry sorry such a downer this week, but
I've got a couple of things, but
okay.
that are happy that I didn't mention last week. This is kind of late news for everyone, but they're making a full-length K9 movie.
Yeah.
Set to release in 2017. Isn't that exciting?
Interesting.
Yeah.
Is the Doctor going to be in it? / which incarnation?
I have no idea. we'll see after this episode coming up if they're gonna test run some different incarnations. I don't know. I'm leaving that purposely vague. Also, yes. Also, they're releasing new audiobooks starring Catherine Tate and David Tennant as the 10th Doctor and Donna Noble. So yay!
I have never really been into the books before, but I'm all about listening to David Tennant some more.
Yeah. Oh well, they're audio dramas, so they're actually a full cast.
Oh, interesting.
So it's nice. So yeah, that'll be really interesting to see how that goes. I'm gonna definitely buy them immediately.
Anything else in the news corner?
I'm wearing question mark underpants.
Nice. Cool. Well, on that note, thank you everyone for listening. Yeah, hopefully we'll have more cool stuff to say next week. But
it's a good way to end.
No promises. So, see you guys later.
Bye.
Bye.